more people. So how about it? It's a talk I'd like to give to young people. Some would say I'd stir discontent among them, but I would reply that discontent is the greatest motivator of them all, and is responsible for every great boon to humankind.
I'm in a gated community. This community here is actually 50 miles from my house. I'm gonna tell you a quick story how I got this customer. And these the affluent people out here, really affluent. It's like a big golf course style community. But I got this customer word of mouth really last year. And he got 2 units. I'm charging him $100 per unit to do the maintenance on it. And I told him, but I did some work for a friend of his, and they say I did do good work. He know I'm from Houston, and he's way
in 800 feet. Turn left onto Pebble Beach Drive.
He's in Pebble Beach Drive. See, big golf course. But he know I'm from Houston, and I told him, you know, that I charge $100 per unit.
Drive, then turn right onto Riverside Drive.
And I started to explain to him, why do I charge $100 per unit? And he cut me off in mid-sentence. I was explaining to him, you know, I wash his car, check all the pressure. But he was like, he said, I know you do a good job. That's why I called you. Just when can you come out? And this was last week, so I scheduled him.
Take the next right onto Riverside Drive.
Today. But the moral of the story is, though,
in 600 feet, your destination will be on the left.
Just do a good job for everybody. You don't know where. It's like you reap what you sow. You don't know where it's gonna come from. You know, but if you do a good job, people want you, and people want you to come out and service their equipment. You know, because you do a good job. So I'm gonna go. And these are the type of customers that I want. You know, 2119. These are the kind of customers that we want right here. You know, kind of customers that don't mind. And he asked for a quote on installing some Nest thermostats. And I charge like almost $400 to install those. So when I told him that price, he said he wasn't quite ready yet, but I'm sure he'll do them. Cause I do gotta charge at least $20 more on whatever I do if I'm driving this far. You know. But I think this the house, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, I just spoke with the homeowner. He has a warranty company, and I actually deal with this warranty company that he with, and they require him to do a maintenance on the units. But how I like to do mine though, I like to just turn them on. Good thing he do got a warranty though. But you know, for a thermostat stuff like that, I can do that. But I really like to turn the units on before I even do any kind of maintenance on them, just to make sure they operating correctly. So I already dropped this thermostat. Set at 70. I'm gonna drop both of them. This one at 78, I'm gonna drop it to 70. Take a look at the filter. Filters don't look bad. So it look like I'm gonna need a ladder to get in the attic. So he said the last company to come out and do his maintenance, they left panels and everything all on the floor. If I do a good job, which I am, I'll be doing his maintenance every year. Yes, sir.
What are those home protection companies? Which one would you advise me?
I was going to tell you about that. It's one called 210 Home Warranty.
Who?
210.
210?
210 Home Warranty. They the best, I think.
They cover everything.
Choice Home Warranty sucks for the homeowner and the contractor, but they will cover everything. And whatever we tell them, kind of like what's wrong with the unit, they'll take our word for it. But Choice Home Warranty, they'll try to deny every little thing.
Who's this?
Choice, the one you have,
Yeah.
they try to deny everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know. They've been trying to
Yeah.
get me to policy ends in July.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
they sign up early.
No, if I just look at 210 Home Warranty.
Hey,
The number-
I'm waiting on you.
Yeah, the
You
number.
got here. That's what course I was going to ask.
Yep, the number 2 and 10. Yep,
Okay.
yep. All right, let's see what we got. Light bulb blown. I might have start carrying me some light bulb. $210. Yeah, Choice Home Warranty, they suck. Yeah, bad customer service. All right, coil look good. I'm gonna hit that coil with some nitrogen plus the drain line. Find the drain line. I say Choice Home Warranty, you are required to do a maintenance, which is good, but those other warranty company, they don't require. Gotta be very careful coming through here. Oh, okay. Got a ladder access on that side over there. So I use the ladder to get to that one. Let's walk right past and then see it. This one don't have a door access. So I'm doing flush the drain lines out. I'm gonna go ask him for a light bulb on that other one. I got a light bulb. Hope it works. Hope I can reach. Turn this air off. Let that be light. Back to getting business though. Word of mouth. I remember people used to tell me they don't do any advertising. They just do word of mouth. I used to be like, man, how you get out on customers, you know, just by word of mouth. And like I said, I've been doing my own thing for a year for in business, for my LLC anyway. And I got quite a few customers out word of mouth. And it's amazing. Now, don't get me wrong, I do a lot of marketing also. As far as the internet. We in the time of the internet. Get my knife and open that up, son. Like I say, so with some warranty company, you have to keep your unit maintained or they will deny you. And I don't blame them for that. So they'll try to do anything. Take this, come out, say the unit need maintained because he want to sell. He know the warranty company is going to deny the homeowner. If he says that unit has been neglected because it needs maintenance, the homeowner is going to deny it, and the homeowner is going to have to foot the whole bill. Even if they've been paying for warranty for 10 years, and when it's time for that warranty company to pay up, they want to deny the customer. So I'm going to take before and after pictures and give to the customer so they can prove that they have been maintaining their unit. Gonna add some pan tabs in the drain line. Drain line looks pretty clean though. Slab core. Small window they had there. So I go get some more tape. So I like to spend a couple more dollars on nitrogen. Cause whatever in that line, when you hit it with that nitrogen, I know some people just pour water down there. Or pour some bleach down there. I use that little CO2 that I can blow harder than. But that nitrogen, it's gonna get it out of there. You can hear it when it get out of there too. It's gonna go poof. As if you have a stopped up drain. I need to put some pan tabs in there so I keep that open. And check that cap in that blower. Go ahead and get all this stuff down, my maintenance material. I'm gonna do a good job. It ain't gonna take me long either. Paul did go get some pan tabs and foil tape. Couple of them, that'll do me right there. It's almost 2 minutes. It's a residential unit. Tape. Got this now buttoned back up with some regular foil tape. Got it powered back up. I'm gonna go knock this next one out, then we're gonna go outside and do the condensers. All right. when I cut this hole in here, this whole little bottom piece I ain't having on film was covering up like I say about 1/4 or half of the coil was just laying at the bottom. So I just snatched it out. But I'm pressing for time now, so flush these drain lines, tape this door back up, and get out of here. Alright, it's back, people. Let's see if we can knock out these condensers. Whoa, what are we working with right here? Yeah. See, my first time seeing these. But I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you something though, see? Of course, this can be a easy sale. Eventually one day it will be. But I ain't with telling nobody they need a new unit, but I will tell them eventually, you know these units not gonna last forever. What we working with right here? Serial number 3789, E as in Edward 07762. That's a 5-ton. This must be downstairs. Alright. And I was gonna wash these coils inside out, but I'm not washing these inside out. It's almost too brittle. But they got an accumulator on here. So kill the power. Let's see what this electrical look like. Guess I can wash these inside out though. It's easy. I ain't know I was gonna have that much access. I thought I was gonna have to take the top off. So yeah, we can do these inside out. We ain't have no power. I come back and check the capacitors in the contactor. Contact cleaner, go ahead and clean these up. 24. 5.5. It's a 45. This is a 45.5. 45.5. And I'm getting a 24. I'm getting a 5 on the fan. I'm sorry. Yeah, this capacitor is no good. Only get a 24 on the compressor. here, 24. And oh, this is a 45.7. I'm sorry. 45.7.5. So that's why I think we're like 7.2 on the fan. This the fan right here. So the fan is getting a 7.2 on the fan, 7.2. So the fan side is good, but the compressor, the cap is not good. So it's like this right here. I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna charge them what I charge to change out the capacitor. The unit is cooling, but like I say, he need another. He is under warranty, so if he don't want to pay to change it out today, he can look forward to it going out or damaging the compressor. Right, so that one clean this up real good. It's an old unit. They need to make these new units like this too. So you can have access to the inside. Let me check that contact real quick too, the 24 volts, ohm that out. I still got the inside running. I need to do that later. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that other unit out too. Once I get all that water, once I get that water out, I can get out the way. of contact. Start kit. It's not on here. Even with the $90 piece, I ain't lying. I try to do more than I get paid, but you know, I ain't see the E units. I quoted them over the phone. You need to be charged more than that. Even if it's at a warranty company, I'm gonna write a receipt that they got it maintenance, but they gonna look at the conditions of the unit and the age. I think this is 1993. I don't know what that ID means or the serial number, but you got to be the original units of the house. I wish I had some green clean. I'm gonna try to do something to clean this top up. Do the compressor first. I got 42.3 on the compressor. All right. Fan 4.95. So this cap look like a 55.5. Let me see. What else I had on the compressor? 42. 4.9 on the cap. Like a 55.5. Yeah. So the cap is a 55.5. I got, you need 2 caps. 55.5, I'm getting a 42. Go ahead and clean up now. Pause this, get the electrical fastened up, and I'm gonna clean the coil. Yeah, these old ones got better access than the newer model. I got flooded out over here. Make sure that bottom clear so mud and that debris has somewhere to go. Need to bring my pressure washer for this. See the homeowner see the outside of the unit. We technicians, we know how important the coils is to be clean, but a lot of times they don't understand that. They come around here and see all that, they think we did nothing. It needs some type of soap. And elbow grease ain't getting it. Try to About to get some screws. This water ain't going nowhere. I'm trying to get some self-tapper. Tighten this up, come back and check my pressure. It ain't gonna dry out. I ain't gonna be checking no superheat subcooling on this old unit. They want to make sure our pressure within range. And we'll go from there. Turn this one on. I'll come back to that. .46 degrees superheat. Let's let that run for a while. They got a TXB in there though. 10 degrees subcooling right now. Let that run about 5 minutes. R22. These coils are still a little wet. I'm gonna press the time. I did a good maintenance on it, but I still think it may be a little low. I had this unit, the condenser unit, off for about at least 30-40 minutes. And I think it's about 74 in the house. It might just be a tad, a little bit low. I felt some pressure in this discharge, but email this to myself. Lost a little more then. feel like the older units just built better. Alright, he said he ain't had no cooling problem, so really I checked those right here, and maybe he let me change the cap or something. I'll check the pressures. There really no need to me checking the pressure and losing any more refrigerant. Got that Teflon on them gasket. Should put it on both, cause they got a lot of Teflon on there, and I felt that little pressure in that discharge cap. And I got 50, like 53 psi. So always leaking that. All right, HVAC people. Let me get in here and do this paperwork so I can get up out of here. Everybody have a good one. Take care. Please like, subscribe. Have a good one. I'm back. I like my West shirt. The business side of it. Just how I fill out my paperwork. This is just, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance. Work performed, clean both coils, evap and condensers. Cleaned electrical, flush drain lines, checked amps and voltages. From the flush drain pans, I'm gonna put added pan tabs, condensate tab, tabs. Check pressures. It's like 53 psi. I'm gonna put downstairs unit on that one, the big one, and just check the temperatures on the other one. Downstairs, check pressure. I had it had 53 psi. Well, 54 psi over 165 psi. Check temperatures across evap. That was a 17-degree split. Alright. Verified proper operation. And this is what he would need for the warranty company if they try to deny him for a claim. Because he might get them to change the capacitors, or he might get me, I don't know. Today's date is the 14th, 2019. I'm not gonna worry about modern serial numbers. Just gonna put the brand name, Linux on both. Recommendation: replace both dual capacitors at condenser unit. I would say replace that contact on that upstairs unit too, but technician is Walter. So I put the address of the homeowner. Phone number. Alright, and just I'm gonna do a flat rate repair. It is not a repair. Well, I'm just gonna do a total. It'd be a total of 180. And that's just flat rate, no taxes. Most time I do taxes, but I'm just gonna do a flat rate on this. Balance due upon completion, 180. This is not warranty. It's regular. I get the customer to sign the date. Just have my license number down. I have my contact information with my website, email. On this right here, I just put clean coil, check charge, check motor, clean and adjust contact, place fuse, evaporator coil, adjust, clear cap tube, no, clean coil, yes. This furnace, I didn't check the furnace, condensate, clean main drain, yes. Repair drain, no. Clean pan, yes. That's about it. Alright, I'll just get the customer signed today here. And we out. Like I say, that's how I just do my service ticket. And this for the people that want a paper receipt, or I have QuickBooks where I can send everything, which I prefer, through the computer. Alright, there we out.
Character culture, position, attainment of every sort. So decide upon your goal. Insist upon it. Look at your goal card every morning and night, and as many times during the day as you conveniently can. By so doing, you'll insinuate your goal into your subconscious mind. You'll see yourself as having already attained your goal, and do that every day without fail, and it will become a habit before you realize it. A habit that will take you from one success to another all the years of your life. For that is the secret of success, the door to everything you will ever have or be. You are now, and you most certainly will become, what you think about. All creatures at birth are supplied with everything they need for successful survival. All creatures except one are supplied with a set of instincts that will do the job for them, and because of that, they don't need much of a brain. Take the magnificent bald eagle, for example. My wife and I saw dozens of them on a recent fishing trip in Alaska. To see one of them come swooping down and pluck a live and sizable fish from the water on a single pass is astonishing. More astonishing still is the eagle's eyesight. And because of its need to see small rodents moving in the grass from high altitudes or a fish just inches under the surface of the water, its incredible eyes take up just about all of the space in its head. For the eagle, its eyes are the most important thing, and everything else works in unison with them. Its brain is tiny and rudimentary. It doesn't think or plan or remember. It simply acts in accordance with stimuli. And it's the same with most other living creatures. Even the beautiful porpoise with a much larger brain and the chimpanzee are easily tamed and taught. Only one takes 20 years to mature and has dominion over all the rest and the earth itself, and has today the power to destroy all life on earth in a couple of hours. Only one is given the godlike power to fashion its own life according to the images it holds in its remarkable mind. Everything fashioned by human beings is a result of goal setting. We reach our goals. That's how we know that the diseases that plague us will be conquered. We've set goals to eradicate every disease that plagues us, and eradicate them we will, one by one. We have never set a goal that we have not reached, even landing on the moon, or are now in the process of reaching. No one ever made a purposeful accomplishment without a clear goal toward which to work. I hope you've established yours and that you've begun to think about it frequently every day to impress it into your mind, particularly your remarkable subconscious, where forces greater than we can imagine can come to your aid. For a moment, consider the things your mind has brought you. Everything you have, your work, your relationship with your family and others, your philosophy of life, all come to you as a result of using your mind. Your religion. Now consider the estimate made by experts. You have probably been operating on less than 10% of your mental capacity, and probably much less than that. In an article for the Saturday Review, our old friend Herbert Otto, psychologist, educator, and chairman of the National Center for the Exploration of Human Potential, reminded us that many well-known scientists, such as the late Abraham Maslow, Margaret Mead, Gardner Murphy, O. Spurgeon English, and Carl Rogers, subscribe to the hypothesis that man is using a very small fraction of his capacities. Margaret Mead quotes a 6% figure. Herbert Otto writes, "My own estimate is 5% or less." Neurological research has shed new light on man's potential. Work at the UCLA Brain Research Institute points to enormous abilities latent in everyone by suggesting an incredible hypothesis. They said the ultimate creative capacity of the human brain may be, for all practical purposes, infinite. To use the computer analogy, man is a vast storehouse of data, but we have not learned how to program ourselves to utilize these data for problem-solving purposes. The following appeared in Soviet Life Today, a USSR English language magazine. It said the latest findings in anthropology, psychology, logic, and physiology show that the potential of the human mind is very great indeed. As soon as modern science gave us some understanding of the structure and work of the human brain, we were struck with its enormous reserve capacity, writes Yefremov, eminent Soviet scholar and writer. He continues, man, under average conditions of work and life, uses only a small part of his thinking equipment. If we were able to force our brain to work at only half its capacity, we could, without any difficulty whatever, learn 40 languages, memorize the large Soviet encyclopedia from cover to cover, and complete the required courses of dozens of colleges. End of quote. That statement is hardly an exaggeration. It's the generally accepted theoretical view of man's mental potentials. Now, how can we tap this gigantic potential? It's a big and very complex problem with many ramifications. But as Herbert Otto points out, it's clear that persons who live close to their capacity, who continue to activate their potential, have a pronounced sense of well-being and considerable energy. They see themselves as leading purposeful and creative lives. The way most people use their minds can be compared to the time back in the early 19th century when just the eastern coast of the North American continent was settled, just a strip along the east coast. To the west stretched the raw, undeveloped great bulk of what was later to become the incredibly rich 90% of the economy. 90%, which resulted in the standard of living enjoyed today by Americans. If everything you have is the result of using just 5% of your mind, consider for a moment what it will mean to you and your family if you can increase this percentage. This cassette will show you how to use infinitely more of your mental powers, how to develop some of that more than 90% virgin territory. None of us, as a rule, has the slightest notion of the real capabilities of his or her mind, but believe me when I say that your mind can be compared to an undiscovered gold mine, and it makes no difference whether you're 17 or 70. Look at it this way. Your goal is in the future. Your problem is to bridge the gap which exists between where you now are and the goal you intend to reach. This is the problem to solve. Robert Seashore, then chairman of the Department of Psychology at Northwestern University, pointed out that successful people are not people without problems. They're simply people who've learned to solve their problems. And there you have it. Living successfully, getting the things we want from life, is a matter of solving the problems which stand between where we now are and the point we wish to reach. No one is without problems. They're part of living. But let me show you how much time we waste in worrying about the wrong problems. Here's a reliable estimate of the things people worry about. Things that never happen, 40%. Things over and past that can never be changed by all the worry in the world, 30%. Needless worries about our health, 12%. Petty miscellaneous worries, 10%. Real, legitimate worries, 8%. In short, 92% of the average person's worries take up valuable time, cause painful stress, even mental anguish, and are absolutely unnecessary. And of the real, legitimate worries, there are two kinds. There are the problems we can solve, and there are the problems beyond our ability to personally solve. But most of our real problems usually fall into the first group, the ones we can solve if we learn how. There must be millions of people today who feel they're being barred from the life they want because they look upon problems not as challenges to be met, but as wide chasms beyond their ability to bridge. A little research proves that successful people have the same kinds of problems. One of the very real benefits of working with a psychologist or psychiatrist comes from learning that there are hundreds of thousands, even millions of other people with problems identical to our own. So the whole thing boils down to a matter not of problems which are common to us all, but to our ability to solve them. Now I'm going to assume you've decided on a goal. Remember, you will become and you will achieve what you think about. That is, if you stay with it, you'll reach your goal. But how? It's right here that your mind comes into play. What is your mind really? Nobody knows for sure. Perhaps the best way to describe it is to quote Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Archibald MacLeish. In his play, The Secret of Freedom, a character says, "The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you can find in a pig or a horse." That's uncomfortably true. The human mind is the one thing that separates us from the rest of the creatures on Earth. Everything that means anything to us comes to us through our minds. Our love of our families, our beliefs, all of our talents, knowledge, abilities. Everything is reflected through our minds. Anything that comes to us in the future will almost certainly come to us as a result of the extent to which we use our minds. And yet it's the last place on Earth the average person will turn to for help. Do you know why? You know why people don't automatically turn their own vast mental resources on when faced with a problem? It's because they never learned to think. Now that is a fact, believe it or not. Most people never think at all during the entire course of their lives. They remember, but that's not thinking creatively or in new directions. They react to stimuli, but again, that's not thinking. Remembering to set the alarm at night and getting up when it rings in the morning does not take thought. Nor does showering, shaving, getting dressed, eating breakfast, going to work. At work, we once again fall into comfortable routines. At quitting time, we go home and start repeating the process. Most people, let me say it again, do not know how to think. When they're faced with a problem, they will go to any length to avoid thinking. They will ask advice from the most illogical people, usually people who don't know any more than they do, next-door neighbors, members of their families. Very few of them have reference books, but much more important than that, only one in I don't know how many thousands will take a large notepad, write the problem at the top of the page, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do, realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. As you do realize that we are developing so rapidly that we've come further in the realm of progress in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10 stage, and then deliberately turn on his or her thinking apparatus. But some people do think. They do indeed. In order to reflect a moment on the human mind, consider what